Hi guys, and welcome back to class. So I want you guys to look here. It says, love acts like a blank, love feels like a blank, and love is as blank as a blank. Fill in these sentences. When you fill in these sentences, you're going to realize that you are creating a sentence of figurative language. So for example, I wrote that love acts like a Sour Patch Kid. And what I meant by that was that sometimes love is sour, but sometimes it's really sweet. So I want you to come up with an example of your own and then think to yourself, why do we commonly describe love or other elements or other things using figurative language? Why do we use figurative language to describe love? Now let's read aloud Act 1, Scene 1, lines 183 through 257. What's happening at the end of Act 1, Scene 1? How do Hermia, Lysander, and Demetrius each feel about Helena? Now let's look at the word perjured. Perjured means to render oneself guilty of lying in a court by giving false testimony under oath. So when you think of the word perjured, think about the fact if someone asks you to go testify to something that you saw. So if you saw someone get murdered, but you don't want to tell on that person for whatever reason. So you go to court and you lie and say that you didn't see it. Or maybe you lie and say that someone else did it. If you lie to the court, you are perjuring yourself. You have perjured. Now look at Scene 1, lines 183 through 257. And I want you to annotate just for figurative language. Where do you see figurative language? Find two examples of figurative language. So first I'm going to give you guys an example, and you're going to do this activity on handout 4A. So this is handout 4A. And you'll see there's three columns. One says figurative language, literal meaning, and the figurative meaning. So I'm going to give you guys an example of what goes in these columns. You can use my example for your first box, but then I want you to find two of your own. So my example says, so first I'm going to find figurative language. So on Act 1, Scene 1, line 186, it says, your eyes are lodesters, okay? Make sure that you use your citation. So don't just write the line. In the box, you need to put your citation. So 186, you need to put your citation. So what does this mean? What does your eyes are lodesters literally mean? So you're going to write that in your second box. So if you look in the glossary next to this page, you'll see that lodester is a star that guides sailors on like on the ocean. Okay, so what that is like in the ocean at night, it's really dark out. Like you can't really see the water. You can't really see what direction you're going. Just like in a plane, when the plane is flying up in the air, there are like stars or like little lights that guide the plane so it knows where it's supposed to go. Or like when it's going to land, you ever see a landing strip on a plane, and at night it's lit up so that it guides the plane so that it can land safely. So he's saying that Herminia's eyes are like stars that sailors use to guide their way. Well, that's the literal meaning, but Herminia is not sitting in an ocean and letting people like use her eyes to like, dock, or she's not standing like at an airport and laying on the ground and her eyes being used to guide someone for landing. So the figurative meaning, or what he's trying to say is, or she's trying to say, or Helena is saying that Herminia's eyes are beautiful like stars. They're so beautiful like stars that they guide and direct the actions of men like Demetrius. So instead of guiding a sailor or a boat or a plane, her eyes are bringing men to her. Instead of the plane landing into the lights, these men are landing into her spell, okay? She can get them to love her based on her eyes because they're as beautiful as stars. Now I want you guys to find 2 examples of your own and continue to fill out the handout. Then think to yourself, what are some effects of figurative language in the text? What does the metaphor of sickness reveal about Helena? And how does the metaphor of Athens, heaven unto hell, 1.1.212 reveal Herminia's understanding of love? And how does the use of the legal term perjured reveal Helena's conflict in love? Now let's look at examining the drama summary. So if you go to page 7 at the top, or page 6, you will see that at the top of that page, there is a scene summary. The scene summary is there to kind of help you understand what's going to take place in the text. But you're not supposed to use this to read the entire play. It's just a summary. So you want to make sure that you still read the text. The summary is supposed to just kind of help guide you, but you still need to read the text so that you can get the details. Because remember, a summary is only the main part. So it's not going to have all of the details, and you don't want to not understand what's happening with the text. And remember, all of our tests are usually over the actual text. So do not substitute this for reading the play. Then I want you guys to look at the first 5 sentences of the summary. So if you look at the first sentence, it says, Theseus, Duke of Athens, is planning the festivities for his upcoming wedding to the newly captured Amazon, Hypatia. Now, on that first sentence, what descriptive language and details can you add to that first sentence? What is the character thinking or feeling? So in that first sentence, we talked about Theseus and we talked about Hypatia. What is Theseus feeling? What is Hypatia feeling? What can I add to that first sentence? And how does the character respond to the events that are unfolding in the play? So basically, you're going to take that first sentence and then you're going to elaborate answering these questions with additional sentences. How does the sentence that you create help you understand the meaning or the details from the scene? So based off of what you've added about from your sentence, based off of answering these questions, how does it help you understand the meaning of the scene? Now we're going to experiment with evidence-based claims. So remember, an evidence-based claim demonstrates a deep understanding of a topic. If you have evidence to back up your claim, that lets me know that you really understand what it is that you are speaking about. So you want to read and discuss the question, examine and gather evidence, consider which one is the strongest evidence, and then create a claim based on your strongest evidence. So let's practice creating evidence-based claims. So for example, I want us to look at the character Hermia, and I want us to ask ourselves, should Hermia disobey her father? Now, you may have an opinion, but we need to be able to argue both sides. So if in one column, you're going to say that yes, she should disobey her father. And on the other column, you're going to say, no, Hermia should not disobey her father. Then I want you to review Act 1, Scene 1, your annotations, and see where you can find evidence for reasons why she should disobey her father and reasons why she shouldn't. So for example, if I'm going to say that yes, she should disobey her father. Why? Because she believes that Lysander is just as nice of a guy as Demetrius. She loves Lysander she loves Lysander, and it's not like he's a bad man. So just because her father wants her to marry one guy, this other guy is just as nice. So when we look here, so here she's basically saying that yes, Demetrius may be a worthy individual that should be able to marry her, but so is Lysander. Lysander is a great guy too. So if I'm going to say that yes, she should marry Lysander because that's who she loves, and he's just as good of a guy as Demetrius, then yes, she should disobey her father and go with her heart, because it's not like Lysander is a bad man. But then I'm going to say in the other column that no, she should not marry Lysander because she can be killed. So on Act 1, Scene 1, lines 41 through 43, he says that, and then of course here's when you would open your books. He says, consent to marry with Demetrius. I beg the ancient privilege of Athens, as she is mine, and I may dispose of her. So here he's basically saying, like, you need to do what I say or else I will dispose of you. I will kill you. So when you think about it from that perspective, then maybe she shouldn't disobey her father because she can be killed. So basically you are going to make a claim. Why do you think she should disobey her father? And then give me evidence from the text. Why do you think she shouldn't disobey her father? And give me evidence from the text. To finish off this lesson and our content framing question, in our reveal stage, what does a deeper exploration of figurative language in Midsummer Night's Dream reveal? I want you to also reread the list of purposes and effects of strong figurative language. And I'll have an anchor chart for you guys in Schoology, and answer the question, which example of figurative language is most effective in revealing an idea about love? What does this figurative language mean, and why is it effective? For homework, I want you guys to do handout 4B Fluency, reread Act 1, Scene 1, lines 183 through 257, and write a one-sentence summary of the plan that Helena was devised. Also, review your notes to prepare for the focusing question task in the following lesson. Hi guys, so online, I'm going to have some virtual index cards for you guys. On each of these index cards, you're going to look at the words or find some words that give you clues that help you understand what their meanings are. Now, how did you find your matching joke or punchline? So they're going to be two index cards that have a joke on it and a punchline, and you're going to match the joke and the punchline to each other. And then ask yourselves, why are these jokes funny, and why are they supposed to be funny? This kind of wordplay is called a pun, and puns are an example of a figurative language. Now, puns can be very obvious, and sometimes they're not obvious. It's kind of hard to figure them out. So a pun is wordplay, often for humorous effect, that is based on a similarity in sound of two or more words or on various meanings of the same word. So let's look at Act 1, Scene 1, lines 249 through 251. Now, an oath means a solemn pledge or promise. So Demetrius was making promises like a marriage proposal to Helena. So, for instance, like if you make an oath to your best friend for you guys to be friends forever, you're making a promise. You're pledging to that person that you are going to make sure that we're best friends forever. So on these lines, Demetrius is promising that he's going to marry and propose to Helena. Well, now I want you guys to look at Act 1, Scene 1, lines 249 through 251. Clarify the meaning of held down by using the glossary. Then I want you guys to circle the words held down and the words held on these lines. Now, hail can be a verb and it means to salute or greet. So for instance, all hail the queen. That means that you're ushering the queen in and you're greeting her. But hail can also be a noun, which means pellets of frozen rain. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen hail, but that's when it's so cold outside, or when the condensation of the sky, it freezes the rain before it drops to the ground, that it comes down like ice cubes, like it falls really hard. So I want you guys to look at lines 249 through 251 and explain what is the pun in these lines. Remember, a pun is wordplay that is supposed to be funny, but it's based on the similarity in the sound of the two or more words. So notice how we have hail, held down, and hail. Then answer the question, how does this pun demonstrate an idea about love? All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's lesson. If you need any help or have any questions, please come to office hours Monday through Friday, 11:22 to 12:06. I'll see you guys then. Bye.